Mother's milk from USACO's training site. This question is really simple. All you need is just program recursion to search through all the possibilities, basically like a depth first search. So here's my code. Starting from here, this is the main function. All these are really simple, just reading the input and initializing all my variables. And here's the important part, where I made another function so that I can use recursion to search through all the other possibilities. Here's the solve function, where it inputs a, b, and c as 3 integers. These 3 integers are basically the amount of milk you have in each bucket, and the capitalized a, b, and c are the capacities of each bucket. Here, first I made a if check so that I can stop the program when it's necessary. So basically, if this is already visited, so if we already had a amount of milk in bucket 1, B amount of milk in bucket 2, and C amount of milk in bucket 3, if we already searched through that, then we can stop this, or if we already found all the possibilities. So here, this is another if to stop the program. Well, not to stop the program, but to add another answer. If a is equal to 0, which is stated in this question, where it said find what amount of milk can he live in bucket C when he begins with the 3 bucket and notes that bucket A is empty. So here, if A is 0, that means that bucket A is empty. Then we can add this answer into the list. Here I just check to see if this is not visited, then I just mark it as visited, so next time I won't have to loop through this again. And then here's the part where I do all the recursions and searches. Starting from the first one, we can take bucket A and pour it into bucket B or pour it into bucket C. But if we pour into bucket B, and if A is still empty enough to pour the whole bucket B into bucket A, then we simply change A to A plus B, which means that the amount of milk in bucket B is also added to bucket A, and we change B to 0 because we've already emptied bucket B. Otherwise, if bucket A does not have enough capacity for A plus B, then we know that bucket A will be filled to the top and bucket B will still have a remaining. This is the same thing with bucket A pouring into bucket C. Next, if we want to pour bucket B into bucket A or C, we also do the same thing. Check if A and B is small enough for bucket B to carry. And then here is bucket B and C. Basically means that bucket B is poured into bucket C. And finally, we check for bucket C. We can pour bucket C into bucket A, or we can pour bucket C into bucket B. And after all this search, we will afterwards all of the possibilities will be visited. So then this will return the program and we will stop this function. After this function is finished, then we already have all the answers. We just need to add it to this vector list, because there's one thing that I didn't really notice in the beginning, and it's that the output, the check for the output is really strict, and it requires like an exact amount of white space. So first, I just added all the answers into this vector list, which we will later print out. And here is the part where we print out the vector list. CNT is basically counting how many possibilities are there. And then from 0 to CNT, then we just print out each of the vectors. And this part is just the tricky part at the end, where it says, so actually it didn't say anything about this here, but you have to actually not print any extra white space. So this is just simply checking if this is the last one. If this is the last one, then we don't need to print out the space. And finally, you always print out the new line for the program to check when it's over. And yeah, that's basically it for this.